But on behalf of, well, the coach and everybody here at ESPN, we want to wish a happy 50th birthday, if that's possible.
I never thought I'd say it, man. It'd be nice to be 50 again.
Well, I mean, you could do worse than being 50 and being Wayne Gretzky, whose birthday it is today. He is, without a doubt, the greatest person to ever put on a pair of skates and take a stick in hand. I want to get to, well, your thoughts on somebody that you know very, very well, but let's take a look for those of you unclear on the concept of singular greatness. What you missed if you never saw the great one play. Look at that, OHL, WHA.
Man. He's 16 years old right there playing against Toronto Marlies.
He's 19 years old here and dominant already. The first of 8 consecutive league MVP trophies before.
Oh, he's getting old now. He's in his early 20s.
Oh, yeah. Taking the Oilers to 4 Stanley Cups in the 20s. Went for a league record 215 points in 85-86. And then, well, as a kid in LA, I swore that Christmas arrived in the summer of 1988. 99, wearing a Kings jersey, got him to Game 7 of the 1993 Conference Finals. I think you and I both want to avert our eyes right there. And here in his 40s, executive director of the 02 Canadian Olympic team, the one that won gold in Salt Lake, coached the Coyotes for 4 seasons, and, of course, was the last torchbearer for the Vancouver Olympics in February of last year when, of course, the Canadian team rose up and, as you said, faced down the greatest pressure any team had ever faced and won gold. And look at the numbers. You know, Barry, I'll say this, as you just read numbers that seem impossible. More than any player in any major professional sport, if Martians landed on the Earth and took in a hockey game that he played in, even they would know how great, comparatively speaking, he was. And again, as somebody who had the opportunity to coach him in LA, I know when I got the job here, it was the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. What was it like to coach Wayne Gretzky and coach the Kings? What was it like?
I'll tell you a great story about Wayne. Everybody wants to find chinks in his armor. He can't be this perfect. In '93, on his birthday, we traded Paul Coffey, who was Wayne's best friend. Wayne was having a birthday party that day at Chasen's, one of the great restaurants in LA. Janet phones Cap Rader, my assistant coach, and says, guys, I don't think you should come to the party. Wayne's really upset about Coffey being traded. About an hour later, Janet calls Cap back and says, Cap, Wayne wants to have you guys there. He's over it. There's no problem. Come to the birthday party. Went to Jason's. We had a great time. It was his birthday. But that's how Wayne is. He's an emotional guy. He's really close to his friends. He's loyal to his friends. He's also great to deal with. He was just an unbelievable player to coach. He wanted to be one of the guys so bad. And people always say, well, did the other players in the dressing room, did they not like Wayne for all the hoopla he was getting and all the press he was getting and all the accolades he was getting? He always brought them into the fold. They were part of it. Every celebration, they were front and center, whether it was Edmonton, whether it was Los Angeles, whether it was the New York Rangers. This guy knew how to treat his teammates, and everyone wanted to be his friend, and he wanted to be everybody's friend. And in the dressing room was where he was the most comfortable, no doubt about it.
And his impact felt obviously league-wide. You figure
worldwide.
And if he doesn't get to the Kings, maybe places like Phoenix and Columbus don't have teams.
That's a slam dunk. There's no teams in Texas. There's no teams in Florida without Wayne going to Los Angeles.
On the ice, and this might be impossible simply to speak to his greatness, but on the ice, how much better was he than everybody else?
The numbers bear it out.
Yeah.
His numbers are twice as good as anybody else's. And he played in an offensive era, and Wayne will be the first guy to tell you. Crosby and Ovechkin played in a different era than I did. I played in an offensive era. The goaltenders weren't as good. But those numbers, over 90 goals, 50 goals now, 51 goals last year won the Maurice Richard Trophy. Over 200 points, 50 goals in 39 games. The rules are changed for Wayne Gretzky. The 4-on-4 rule was changed by Wayne Gretzky. And the great players changed the game. Bobby Orr changed the game, the way defensemen play the game. Wayne Gretzky changed the game the way forwards play the game. That is truly greatness. Great players are great at the game, and they put up good numbers, but the truly great ones change the game, and Gretzky changed the game.
And we've seen a couple great ones now rise up. The generation of today, Sidney Crosby taking perhaps that Canadian torch from Gretzky, passed down through Mario Lemieux, and Alex Ovechkin, a great one as well. But Crosby, Ovechkin, even a Steven Stamkos in Tampa, how do they compare?
Crosby's the closest to Wayne because Crosby is the type of player Wayne was. Wayne made players around him better. You look at, he went to Los Angeles, played with Bernie Nichols. Bernie scored 70-some goals. Wayne always said if him and Brett Hull played together, Brett Hull would score 100 goals. That's what Gretz did, and that's what Crosby does. The players that play with Crosby automatically become better. They become better goal scorers. They become smarter. They go to holes better because he's always dishing the puck. He's stopping, hitting the guys coming late. He's a student of the game. He works behind the net really well. And if you remember remember that's one of the ways Wayne changed the game, working behind the net. No forward had worked behind the net until Wayne came along, and he made it his office. That was the term, his office. And Gretzky does that better than anyone else, and Crosby does it now better than anybody else. So Crosby is the most like Gretzky. They're both stronger than Gretz. Gretz will be the first guy to tell you physical fitness wasn't big then. It wasn't working out every day. It wasn't muscles. But Wayne had a great heart. He had a great mind, and he had an abundance of talent, and he loved the sport. And Crosby's like Wayne more than anybody else.
And he now has a half-century under his belt. However, impossibly, of course, you look at him, there is one thing that he doesn't do quite as well as, well, somebody I know. Look good of a certain vintage. Look at that. Are you kidding me, people? Barry Melrose, back and better than ever. Coach.
And it's a cold winter day out there. It's tough.
Yeah,
tough conditions.
Let's face it, you're going to go throw on the shorts.
Tough playing conditions, man.
All right, you go have yourself a day. Great talking to you. Happy birthday, Wayne.